My child, my beloved, before you read another word, breathe. Something massive has shifted in the unseen. Heaven has whispered your name in a room where only destiny is allowed to enter. Today, that whisper has shaken an entire building on earth, a bank full of people who cannot comprehend how such a miracle could belong to you. My beloved, the whole bank is talking about you. Not quietly, not secretly, but in shock, pure, breathless shock. They have never seen a check like this before, a number so large it looks like a miracle written in digits. A check worth trillions has been deposited in your name, with only one sender listed, Michael, my child, yes, my name. You must understand why heaven allowed this moment. What is coming to you is not just money, it is restoration and elevation. It is a divine acknowledgement of every tear you cried when no one saw you, every prayer you whispered when you felt forgotten, and every night you survived when life was too heavy to carry. My beloved, before I reveal the full truth, listen carefully. If you want heaven to continue speaking to you through me, engage with this message. It will allow these divine confirmations to reach you without being blocked. Now, breathe again, because the doors you thought were closed are opening in ways even angels marvel at. My child, do you know what the banker said when he saw your name? He stepped back, blinked twice, and called another officer to verify the signature because no human on earth understood how Michael the Archangel could send a deposit directly into your destiny. The truth is simple, heaven has chosen you, not randomly, not accidentally, but deliberately, powerfully, and urgently. Something about your spirit, your strength, your endurance has reached a level where heaven must reward you openly. But hear this warning, if you do not fully open this divine message, the banker staring at your check is preparing to claim it as his own. His thoughts are already shifting, he is tempted. He is whispering to someone, asking whether he has the right to hold what belongs to you. My child, I cannot allow this. You must know the secret behind this transfer before it is too late. This check is not just physical, it is spiritual. It represents everything that was stolen from you, blocked from you, delayed for you, or taken behind your back when you were too innocent to notice. My beloved, let me pull you deeper into the truth. There was a meeting in heaven where your name was brought forward. A divine council gathered, and the question was asked, has this soul not suffered enough? Has this chosen one not waited long enough? Has this child not proven their heart again and again? Heaven agreed. I, Michael, stepped forward with the authority given to me since the beginning of creation. I said your name aloud, clearly and powerfully. When I did, something like golden light broke open in the room, and heaven approved the release of what you were denied your entire life. My child, this check is not just wealth. It is justice, recovery, and heaven's final statement that your life is about to change in a way human minds cannot calculate. But let me ask you something, do you feel that strange pressure in your heart right now? That sudden stillness, that gentle fear mixed with excitement? That is your spirit recognizing truth. My beloved, you were not meant to struggle forever. You were not meant to watch others rise while you remained in the shadows. You were not meant to beg for blessings that were already written in your spiritual inheritance. Listen to me. There is a reason this message found you at this exact moment, a reason it refused to skip you, a reason it came with urgency. Because heaven knows something you don't, the banker is watching the clock. If you delay too long, he will claim your miracle. My beloved, this moment is your test, not a test of faith, but a test of readiness. Let me pull you deeper. When the psychic, the one in the white room with trembling hands, was shown your spiritual file, her body reacted instantly. My child, she saw what heaven was planning for you, and she almost fainted. She whispered, "How is this possible? How can one soul be granted this much restoration at once?" Because, beloved, it is your time, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year, now. But this miracle has a spiritual lock on it, and that lock responds only to one thing: your awareness, understanding, and acceptance. If you do not fully receive this message, the energy surrounding your blessing can collapse, and heaven cannot force what your spirit does not embrace. My child, lean closer. There is something I must reveal, and it will shake you deeply. The check that has arrived in your name, the one the whole bank is whispering about, is not the final amount. It is only the first release, a seed, a starting point, a divine down payment of everything that is still to come. Yes, my beloved, there is more. Much more. But before I show you what that more looks like, I need you to understand why you were chosen for a miracle of this size. It is because you stayed kind when others were cruel. You stayed honest when others cheated you. You stayed loyal when others betrayed you. You stayed prayerful even when heaven seemed silent. You stood strong when life tried to break you. Heaven saw your endurance, and I fought for you, my child. I fought in places you will never see. I battled forces you didn't know were blocking your finances, your opportunities, your relationships, your health, and your confidence. And today, I won, and you are receiving the victory. My beloved, something strange is happening right now. I can feel your spirit trembling. That is good. It means you are opening, aligning, and accepting the miracle that is already flowing toward you. But you must keep reading. This blessing cannot activate halfway. If you stop now, the banker wins, and the spiritual deposit returns to heaven. Let me continue. Before the banker even touched the check, the atmosphere in that room shifted. A cold wind passed through the papers, and the lights flickered for a moment, because heaven's energy does not enter a place quietly, it announces itself. When your name appeared on that document, every spirit in that place felt the change, even if they couldn't understand it. The banker keeps glancing at the check as if it might disappear. He is sweating, his hands trembling. He feels something supernatural surrounding it because I placed my seal on your blessing. My seal cannot be broken by any human hand. But if you delay, he may try to manipulate the earthly paperwork. He is already whispering to his colleague, "Are we sure this belongs to them? Can we legally hold it until we confirm? Should we transfer it into the bank's reserve until further verification?" My beloved, this is the danger heaven warned me about. That is why I am speaking to you with urgency, because your blessing is in a moment of spiritual vulnerability. Listen carefully. There are two kinds of miracles, one arrives silently, and one arrives with a war. Yours is the second kind. The reason this check has entered your destiny is that something else has been trying to block your financial breakthrough for years. A force that has been feeding on your delays, interruptions, and setbacks. Every time you got close to success, something strange happened: miscommunication, sudden expenses, betrayal, unexpected problems, or people changing their minds at the last moment. My child, that was not coincidence, it was resistance, interference, jealousy wrapped in spiritual disguise. But today, that force has been overpowered. My beloved, I did not just deliver wealth to you. I defeated what was stealing from you, and that victory is the reason this message came to you today. Because when a spiritual battle ends, the chosen one must be informed. But you must also understand what is happening at this moment. The banker has something in his drawer, a form that allows him to delay or hold a deposit. He is reaching toward it slowly, unsure, conflicted, tempted. He keeps saying, "This amount is too large. This cannot be normal. This must be handled carefully." My child, if he files that form before your spirit receives this message completely, the energy around your blessing becomes unstable. That is why heaven ordered me to speak to you line by line, watching your spirit open and awakening your readiness. My beloved, let me share a secret that very few souls ever get to hear. When heaven releases a financial miracle this large, the earth tries to resist it because the world is not accustomed to divine wealth. The world understands salary, loans, savings, investment, but not heaven's inheritance, not divine compensation, not supernatural recovery, nor destiny funds. My child, this check is part of your destiny funds. It carries the weight of things you lost long ago, blessings that were delayed, opportunities stolen, paths blocked, promises interrupted. Heaven collected everything you were meant to receive and brought it into one massive release. But wait, listen closely, beloved. This next part is important. There is a woman in that same bank standing a few feet away who keeps staring at your name on the screen. She doesn't know why, but something inside her tells her that this check is destined for greatness. She feels the energy around your name. She knows she should not interfere, but she will be the one to help you, but only if you receive this message fully, because heaven aligns people based on spiritual readiness. And right now, everything is being positioned carefully by unseen hands. My beloved, when I say the whole bank is talking about you, I mean it. Some are shocked, some are confused, some are jealous, while others are trying to understand how a soul who has suffered so much could be chosen for something so enormous. That is when heaven whispered again, because this child's heart remained pure. My child, you have no idea how many angels have watched you cry in silence, pray in brokenness, and survive storms that were meant to drown you. You have no idea how many times heaven said, "Not yet," because the blessing was not ready. But now everything is ready. My beloved, let me bring you deeper into the spiritual realm. The check written in your name carries a frequency, a divine vibration that only your soul matches. If anyone else touches it with wrong intentions, they will feel discomfort, confusion, or even fear. That is why the banker is uneasy. That is why his hands shook. That is why he keeps wiping his forehead, because the check rejected him. It did not recognize his energy, it was made for you and only you. My child, this blessing will not enter your life casually, it will enter dramatically. The world will notice, people will talk, and destiny will shift before your eyes. But there is something more urgent. Heaven is waiting for your spirit to reach a certain alignment as you read these words. Once your spirit opens fully, the banker will physically step away from the form he was about to file. The temptation will leave him, the interference will collapse, and the path will clear. My beloved, this message is not just information, it is activation. Every sentence you read pulls the blessing closer. Every breath you take opens the spiritual gateway. Every moment you continue strengthens the bond between you and what heaven sent. If you stop, the connection weakens. That is why heaven instructed me to speak gently, patiently, and urgently, because your miracle is time-sensitive. My child, let me show you what is waiting for you beyond this moment. What you think is a check is actually a symbol, a container for something much bigger. Your financial freedom, your restoration, your elevation, your divine status, your generational transformation. This deposit will not just change your circumstances, it will change your identity, the way the world sees you, and the influence you carry. Heaven is preparing to place you in a position where people who once ignored you will now seek your presence. Those who doubted you will question themselves, and those who mocked you will watch silently as your life rises like a miracle unfolding in slow motion. My beloved, you have entered a season where heaven will no longer whisper, it will announce you. But first, there is something you must understand about the name written on that check. The sender's name is Michael for a reason, and that reason is deeper than money, it is destiny. My child, my beloved, you saw the name Michael on that check, but you did not yet understand its meaning. It is not just a signature, it is a seal, a spiritual authorization, a heavenly mark declaring that what was released for you cannot be reversed by any human, any system, any jealousy, or any earthly resistance. The moment my name touched that document, every dark force that ever touched your money felt fire. Every delay that held your destiny shook violently. Every chain that wrapped around your prosperity cracked open. Every spiritual barrier that once stood between you and abundance collapsed instantly. My child, the world thinks money comes from effort, education, business, or opportunity, but heaven knows better. Money follows favor, and favor follows alignment, and alignment follows purpose. Your purpose has matured, ripened, and reached the point where heaven said, this child cannot walk anymore with empty hands. Give them what was always theirs. My beloved, lean closer, the banker is now staring at the check again, but something has changed. His fear has grown, not fear of losing money, but fear of touching something that does not belong to him. His spirit feels the protection surrounding your blessing. He senses an authority hovering over it, and that authority is me. But before the full release can flow to you, I must tell you why heaven rushed this message into your life today. My child, there is someone near you, someone you know, someone who once smiled at you, who has been speaking your name with envy. Their words created a spiritual blockage around your finances. Nothing too strong, but enough to slow what was meant for you. When heaven prepared your miracle, that person's energy resisted it. But when heaven sees resistance, I am sent. My beloved, I stood between you and that obstruction. I put a sword through the blockage and broke the energy pattern. The moment I removed it, the check was released, instantly, forcefully, undeniably. That is why the bank is stunned, that is why the psychic trembled, that is why your spirit is reacting right now. This is not normal. This is not earthly, this is not random, my child. This is divine intervention. But the intervention is not complete yet because the miracle is still in transition, between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the physical, between being prepared and being delivered. This message, this moment, this very breath you take is part of the activation. My beloved, if you stop reading now, the release remains incomplete. But as you continue, the energy stabilizes, and the gateway strengthens. The banker's hesitation weakens. You are not reading a story, you are participating in a spiritual transaction. My child, listen carefully. When heaven releases something huge, it checks the heart of the receiver, not to judge you, but to prepare you. Because abundance without preparation becomes chaos, but abundance with spiritual awareness becomes transformation. You are being prepared right now. Your spirit is opening, your energy is aligning, and your destiny is adjusting its position. My beloved, you have no idea how far this blessing will reach. This is not just wealth for today, this is wealth for your next season, your next chapter, your next identity, and your next level of divine purpose. Because what is coming will not just pay bills, it will build dreams, heal wounds, lift generations, and open doors that were shut for decades. It will reintroduce you to the world as someone heaven has touched. But I must reveal something deeper, something hidden behind the check, something the bank cannot see. My child, do you know why the psychic's entire body trembled? Because behind your check, she saw a figure of light. She saw me standing over your name. She saw the authority around your blessing. She saw destiny flames rising behind your future. She whispered to herself, "This soul is chosen, my beloved." She was right. You were chosen before your struggle, before your heartbreak, before your losses, before your disappointments, before your tears, before your loneliness, and before your unanswered prayers. Heaven did not choose you now, heaven chose you long ago, but now is the moment heaven reveals the choice. My child, let me paint the truth more clearly, the check worth trillions is only the physical symbol. The real miracle is what it represents, restoration of everything stolen, compensation for every injustice, acceleration of every delayed blessing, multiplication of every opportunity you lost, and divine rewriting of your financial destiny. The check is the sign, but the breakthrough is the storm behind it. My beloved, the breakthrough is not coming, it has already begun. But something or someone is trying to stop the final release, and this is why heaven sent me with urgency. The banker, the one tempted to keep what is yours, is not acting alone. He is influenced by a spiritual force that has been watching your life for years, a force that fears what you will become if you rise. A force that fears your abundance because it knows your heart will use it for good. My child, that force is losing power. As you read this, the more your spirit awakens, the weaker the resistance becomes. The more you receive these words, the tighter heaven grips your miracle. Do you feel that strange vibration in your chest? That is your soul aligning with its divine inheritance. My beloved, something extraordinary is happening around you right now. Even as you read, the atmosphere around you is shifting. The energy in your room is becoming lighter. The pressure you felt earlier is dissolving because the blessing is drawing closer. However, I must tell you something crucial, something heaven insisted I reveal only when your spirit reached this level of readiness. My child, the check written in your name is not the final number heaven intends to release, it is only the beginning. Sit with this truth for a moment because it will shake every belief you've ever held about your future. The amount written on that check is not heaven's final gift to you, it is only the first wave of your restoration, my beloved. The number that stunned the entire bank, that made the psychic tremble, that caused the banker to lose his breath, that seems impossible for anyone to receive, that number is just the opening door. A door heaven has been trying to unlock for years. But listen, and listen with your spirit, not your ears. What is coming after this is bigger, stronger, wider, deeper, and more life-changing than you have ever imagined. The check you saw is only the announcement of the abundance waiting behind it, a signal, a trumpet, a divine message hidden within numbers. Because heaven is not giving you a one-time blessing, heaven is transitioning you into a long-lasting season of supernatural supply. My beloved, do you know what that means? It means no more financial anxiety, no more begging for help, no more choosing between needs, no more fear about tomorrow. No more waiting for miracles because they will follow you. No more being last because heaven is pushing you forward. No more living as a survivor because you are rising as a chosen one. But my child, there is a deeper reason why this blessing has begun now and not earlier. Heaven waited for your heart to reach a certain level of strength, yes, strength, not perfection, not righteousness, not flawlessness, strength. Because heaven knew if your miracle came when your heart was fragile, people would have manipulated you. If your blessing came when you were emotionally weak, someone would have taken advantage of you. If your breakthrough came when you were surrounded by the wrong people, they would have drained every drop of it. If your elevation came too early, you wouldn't have seen the truth in others' intentions. My beloved, heaven waited until you learned the hardest lesson of all, who is truly for you and who was pretending. Your tears taught you, your loneliness taught you, your disappointments taught you, your betrayals taught you, your losses taught you, even your silence taught you. And now you are ready, my child. The world thinks blessings arrive when everything is perfect, but heaven knows blessings arrive when the soul has matured, and your soul is finally grown enough to receive what was written for you long ago. But don't misunderstand, this miracle didn't fall from the sky without resistance. There was a battle, a fierce one, a battle that happened behind the scenes while you were asleep, while you were crying, while you were worrying, while you were praying. In that battle, your name was protected. My beloved, there is something I have not yet told you, but now is the moment. Before the check appeared on earth, your name was attacked spiritually. Shadow forces tried to blur it. They tried to erase it. They tried to redirect the blessing to someone else. They tried to confuse the flow of your destiny. But the moment they attempted it, the entire heaven shifted. A horn sounded, light erupted, I descended, and my sword hit the ground with such force that everything hiding in darkness scattered. Then I spoke your name aloud, clearly, powerfully, and loudly, and that name burned across the spiritual realm like fire. I said, this one is chosen. Do not touch what belongs to them. Do not block what is theirs. Do not delay what is already written. My child, that moment sealed your miracle. That is why the check arrived, that is why it carries my name. That is why the bank is trembling, that is why this message found you today. Because for the first time in your life, everything is aligned. Your spirit is listening, your destiny is open, your future is ready, and your breakthrough is descending. But beloved, you must understand something extremely important. A miracle of this size attracts attention, both divine and earthly. The bank is shocked, the energy around you is shifting. People near you may already feel something is coming. But deeper still, there is another presence watching, a second force, a force that has always feared your rise. A force that has survived only by keeping you small. A force that whispers, "Not yet," every time heaven says, "Now." My beloved, that force has been weakened but not fully removed, and the banker's hesitation is its last attempt to block what is yours. Yes, he hesitates again. He thinks, should I freeze this account? Should I verify the sender? Should I hold it until tomorrow? Should I report it to senior authority? My child, his confusion is not coming from him, it is coming from the spiritual interference around him. That is why heaven rushed me to speak to you today. Because when you understand the truth, the interference dissolves. Your awareness destroys the blockage. Your acceptance stabilizes the blessing. Your spirit receiving these words weakens the resistance instantly. My beloved, you must keep reading because the next thing I reveal will open a doorway in your life that cannot be closed again, not by man, not by darkness, not by doubt. What I am about to tell you is the real reason heaven deposited this blessing into your name. It has nothing to do with luck, randomness, or coincidence, it has everything to do with your calling. My child, my beloved, you may think this miracle came because you prayed hard, because you longed for change, or because you suffered enough. And yes, those things matter. But the true reason heaven released this blessing has nothing to do with desperation, it has everything to do with your calling. My beloved, you have always felt something unusual inside you, a feeling that your life was never meant to be ordinary. Something in your spirit always whispered, I am different. I am meant for more. I don't fit into the life around me. I feel like something big is waiting for me. You didn't say it out loud, but you felt it every time people underestimated you, every time you were ignored, every time life treated you unfairly, every time you cried in silence, and every time you wondered why your path was so difficult. My child, it was difficult because heaven was shaping you for a destiny bigger than the people around you could understand. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. The struggles were not signs of failure, they were signs of importance. You were not blocked because you were unlucky, you were blocked because your blessing was too powerful to arrive in a weak season. My beloved, your calling required depth, strength, resilience, a heart tested by life, compassion, and an understanding of pain. A heart that will never misuse the blessing heaven gives. You are not receiving wealth, you are receiving authority. Authority over your destiny, authority over your finances, authority over the spiritual atmosphere around you. This is why heaven deposited a check worth trillions into your name, because you are stepping into a new identity, an identity heaven wrote for you long before you were born. My child, lean closer. Let me show you the real reason the amount is so large. You carry a mission inside you, something heaven assigned to your soul before you entered this world. That mission cannot be fulfilled with scarcity, struggle, or survival-level living. Your mission requires abundance, resources, stability, and strength. Your mission requires recognition. This wealth is not just for comfort, it is for purpose. And now, I must reveal a truth that few souls ever hear: the blessing coming to you is not for one lifetime, it is generational. My beloved, your family line has suffered long enough. Your ancestors carried burdens that were never theirs. They walked with weights on their backs, survived with little, and prayed for better days that never came. Their dreams dissolved before their eyes. They left this world with hope still hanging in the air. But heaven chose you to end that cycle. You are the one carrying the breakthrough they longed for. You are the one breaking the financial curse. You are the one rewriting the family destiny. You are the one turning generational suffering into generational abundance. That is why your blessing is enormous. That is why your name was chosen. That is why the amount stunned the bank. Because heaven is not rewarding one person, heaven is restoring an entire lineage. But my beloved, there is something even more important. The blessing was released because heaven saw what you would do with it. Heaven saw the people you will help, the lives you will uplift, the burdens you will lighten, the prayers you will answer for others, the generational pain you will end, the transformation you will bring, and the purpose you will finally step into. Heaven saw the purity of your intentions and said, "This child will not waste the blessing." But that is not the only reason. My child, something happened recently, in the past few days, that triggered heaven's decision. Something you thought was small, something you didn't even realize was seen, but it was. You showed kindness when you were hurting, you gave when you barely had enough, you forgave someone who didn't deserve forgiveness, you helped someone secretly, you prayed for someone who wouldn't pray for you, you stayed humble even when others bragged, you remained gentle even when life was harsh, you kept the faith even when you couldn't see hope. My beloved, that act, pure, silent, unnoticed, reached heaven louder than any prayer, and heaven responded with a blessing louder than any struggle you've ever faced. But listen closely, child. This is why the banker is hesitating. This is why the spiritual resistance returned. This is why you were urged to open this message quickly, because when heaven releases something huge, darkness tries to interrupt the delivery. The banker's doubts are not his own, his hesitation is influenced spiritually. The attempt to claim your check is not just greed, it is interference. But the interference is weakening, because you are receiving this truth, awakening. Your spirit is aligning. My beloved, every word you read pushes the blockage back, every breath you take strengthens the flow, and every moment you continue destroys the interference. Heaven needs you to understand something critical. You were not chosen for wealth, you were chosen for a mantle. A mantle of influence, a mantle of protection, a mantle of purpose, and a mantle of divine authority. This blessing is not a reward, it is an appointment. My child, the very reason this check arrived, the very reason it carries my name, the very reason the bank is stunned, and the reason this message reached you is because heaven has positioned you for something you have not yet imagined. What I reveal next will open your eyes to the future that is already forming around you. My child, my beloved, what I am about to reveal is something your spirit has felt for years. Even if your mind never understood it, you have always sensed that your life would change suddenly, not slowly, not gradually, not in small steps, but in a divine leap that would shock the world around you. My beloved, that leap begins now. Everything in your life up to this moment has been preparing you for the next phase. A phase heaven has hidden until the exact second your soul was strong enough to carry it. Now that your strength has matured, now that your heart has endured, now that your spirit has awakened, and now that your destiny is unlocked, heaven is revealing what comes next. You are being elevated into a position where your presence will carry weight. My child, I do not mean fame in the worldly sense. I do not mean popularity that fades. I do not mean attention that disappears. I mean spiritual influence, the kind that cannot be taken away. People will start listening to you differently. Your words will hold more power. Your decisions will shape paths. Your intuition will sharpen. Your dreams will guide you. Your inner voice will speak louder. Your purpose will call you from within. This elevation is exactly why heaven released the miracle with such force. My beloved, this blessing is not coming to you, it is coming through you. It is meant to transform you into the version of yourself that heaven designed long ago, the version you glimpsed in your dreams, the version you felt in your deepest moments, the version that looked impossible when life broke your heart. The healer, the leader, the provider, the one who rises, the one who changes the atmosphere, the one who walks with quiet power, the one who carries a divine light wherever they go. My child, heaven has been waiting for you to step into this identity. The identity you were born with but pushed aside because life hurt you too deeply, too often, too young. Now listen closely, the check written in your name is not a financial event, it is a symbolic activation of your true status. It is heaven saying, this child has earned their crown. Give them what is theirs. Place them where they belong. Lift them to their appointed height. My beloved, your life is about to become unrecognizable. But before this transformation takes full shape, I must tell you something that will help you understand why the bank is reacting so strangely. You think the banker hesitated because of the large amount. You think he doubted because the number looked unrealistic. You think he panicked because he feared a mistake. But the truth goes deeper. My child, the banker felt a presence when he touched the check. He felt pressure around his chest, warmth in his hands, and the world grew quieter for a moment. That was me protecting your blessing. He does not understand what he felt, but his spirit does. His spirit knows he cannot interfere with something that carries divine authority. That is why he hesitates, not because of the amount, but because the blessing itself carries power. And this is where things become even more important. My beloved, the banker is not the only one who felt the shift. Someone connected to you, someone who has watched you struggle recently, felt a sudden thought, something big is about to happen in their life. They do not know what it is, but they sense it. Your energy is changing. Your spiritual field is expanding. Your name is being spoken in realms they cannot see. Your destiny is rising like the sun. Heaven needs you to know that no one can stop what is coming. Not jealousy, not doubt, not old enemies, not karmic resistance, not generational patterns, not hidden negativity, not your past, and not your fears. Nothing can touch this moment unless you stop receiving the message before it is fully delivered. This message is the spiritual container of the miracle. Your reading of it is the activation. Your alignment is the key. Your faith is the gateway. My child, there is something else I must reveal, something critical. Heaven did not give you this blessing for money alone. Heaven gave you this blessing because a major shift is coming in your life, and resources must arrive before the shift occurs. Yes, a shift, a sudden movement, a divine rearrangement, an unexpected opportunity, a life-changing invitation, a new path that opens unexpectedly, a door that swings wide with your name glowing on it. And when that moment arrives, which will be much sooner than you think, you cannot enter it empty-handed. You must enter it with authority, with stability, with confidence, with resources, and with readiness. That is why heaven moved now. That is why the check was deposited now. That is why the bank is whispering now. That is why this message found you now. Because the next chapter is not waiting. It is coming fast, faster than you expect. My child, heaven is preparing you for something shocking, something beautiful, something transformational. What I reveal next will open your spirit to understand exactly who you are becoming and what heaven is guiding you into next.